Unit 5, B, Exercises 5 and 6. Speaker 1, Mandy.
I tend to argue most with my older brother. For some reason we get on each other's nerves. We love each other to bits, but quite honestly, at the same time we absolutely drive each other crazy. It's a bit better now that we're older, but we do have proper arguments in a way that I don't have with anybody else. No doubt it's because we're very close in age. There's only a year between us. And when we were younger, we were probably vying for our parents' attention most of the time. We're also quite different, which can cause a bit of friction as well. Surprisingly enough, with my little brother, I don't argue at all with him. He's 3 years younger than me, and I think that the age gap is probably big enough. We generally get on very well. My brothers and my dad argue a bit, though. I think it's because they're all male. All that testosterone. They're all into sport, and there can be quite a few fiery discussions about football and stuff around the dinner table, which can sometimes degenerate into a family argument. My mum, thank goodness, she doesn't argue with anybody. She's quite easygoing and laughs at the rest of us. Don't blame her. She and Dad hardly ever argue, come to think of it, even though he's naturally quite argumentative. I'm not sure how she manages that. She must ignore him a lot.
Speaker 2, Simon.
My parents are always arguing. Absolutely nothing is happening, and to my utter astonishment, my parents will manage to make an argument about it. They argue about nothing and everything. I am an only child, and growing up I was always the peacemaker. I wasn't very keen on the arguments, and I would always try to patch it up for them. But I do that less now that I'm older and have more of my own life. Now I just let them get on with it. I don't know why they argue. To be perfectly honest, if I got married, I wouldn't want to have a relationship like them. But they've been married for a very long time, so it works for them, I suppose. They do know how to say sorry, so no doubt that helps a lot. Oddly enough, I realise that growing up in a noisy and argumentative household has made me a stronger person. When I'm in a confrontational situation, I'm not intimidated, and I know a lot of my friends are when somebody shouts at them. They get scared and run away, but I don't. I'm quite able to stand my ground. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Come to think of it, my parents don't argue much with me at all. They're quite calm and discuss things with me. As an only child, I've always been quite responsible, so I get a lot of freedom anyway, thank goodness. Or I'd definitely argue with them about that.
Speaker 3, Tina.
Families are funny things. I mean, you don't choose your family members, do you? It's not like your friends. You can choose them, fortunately. But with your family, you're just put in a house with them, and you've got to put up with their everyday habits, their annoying traits. So there are bound to be lots of reasons to argue. And in many ways, you're all very similar. Quite frankly, that's one of the things that is very hard to take. I know I end up having arguments with my mum about things I don't like, because, much to my annoyance, I recognise them in myself. I'm thinking, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like her. And so, it's not really her fault. It's me reacting against her. Doubtless it will change when I get older and have my own house and life. Perhaps our being alike won't be a cause for conflict then. Perhaps we'll get on better because we are so alike. I don't argue so much with my sister or my dad, I don't think, although my sister does annoy me at times. We share a room and she's not as tidy as me, so there are usually arguments about that. And she wants to listen to music when I want peace and quiet to study, that sort of thing. My mum usually sorts things out between us. She's very fair about things like that. Oddly enough, my dad just gets cross with us.